Hey everybody, just wanted to make a quick video. It's a little bit later in the day and I apologize for that. Just got kind of caught up with GAC 2 tests, but I did post the answer key already to these notes as well as the answer key to the practice. Make sure to show your work. You're not going to get credit unless you show like all the steps leading up to this answer, okay? But here anyways is the video to go through what we're doing today, which is a little bit more complicated. So just starting out here. Always remember, when you are factoring, regardless of whether it's an A equals 1 or not, you want to start out by trying to find the GCF, okay? If there is one, you factor it out initially, it'll save you a lot of a headache later on, if you will. So in this first example, we have a GCF of 3 because all three of them have in common. We factor that out front. Okay, it leaves us with x squared minus 4x plus 3. All right, and now we have a quadratic trinomial that has a coefficient of 1, which is really nice for us. So we're just going to go ahead and factor this. And we have x times x gives us x squared. And then what are the factors of positive 3? Well, if it's got to be a negative 4, then it's got to be negative 1 times negative 3. And those are really our only options here. So this would be x minus 1 and x minus 3 or vice versa. And that's our solution as a review. Okay, same thing with example 2. Example 2, you want to factor out the GCF first. So we factor out a 5x. Okay, 5x goes on the left. You're left over with x squared minus 6x minus 7. Because remember, 3 minus 1 gives you 2, 2 minus 1 gives you 1, and 1 minus 1 gives you 0, right, in terms of the variables. Okay, so almost done here. Now you got to factor that even further, since it is a quadratic trinomial. That factors into x and x. Take out your negative 7. Our only options here are negative 7 and 1 or negative 1 and 7. So which one of those can you add together to get a negative 6? That would be the first option, negative 7 times 1. So this would be x minus 7 and x plus 1. Okay, and there's our solution. Okay, so as we continue on here, why don't you go ahead and try these next two, pause the video, see if you get them right, and then go ahead and jump back in and check your answers. Okay, so hopefully at this point you've paused the video, done it on your own. But here is how you should have accomplished it. So divide by 2, because that's the GCF. Gives you x squared plus 7x plus 10. Okay. Then you can factor that even further. Okay. That leaves you with x plus 2 and x plus 5. Okay, because, again, the factors of 10, 2 times 5. All right. Moving on. Same thing here. Hopefully you have, at this point, factored it on your own and paused the video, but just in case.
I love my coat.
Just in case, here is the answer to this problem. Okay, so divide by 4x. Leave a 4x out front. And you have x squared minus 4x minus 12. Okay, and that factors down into x. Let's see, factors a negative 12. That would give you a negative 4, negative 6, and 2. So x minus 6 and x plus 2. Okay, so that's just a quick review of factoring, especially after you factor out the GCF. Always look for that first. Okay, now we're going to look at some examples where it's not that simple. All right, so in example number 3 and 4, we're going to look at examples, I'm sorry, not just you, but me as well. We're going to look at examples where the first term is not 2, or not 1, but it also doesn't have a GCF, okay? So there are two different methods. You can check either one, okay? If you get hung up, guess and check, which I'm going to do for example 3 and 4, are on page 28 in the iBook. There's actually a little video there in the Unit 6 iBook, page 28. Okay, if you want to do the box method, there's an example on how to do it in page 30 in the iBook, Unit 6. Okay, so take a look at those. I'm going to use guess and check for 3 and 4, and then I'll show you down here, I'll show you box method, and then I'll let you try these two, and I posted the key for that as well. Okay, so first example, here's what you do. Guess and check. It is a quadratic trinomial, so we're still going to factor it down. But instead of it just being x times x, well, the problem with that is now we have this leading coefficient of 2. So what numbers, when we multiply them together, would give us 2? Well, there's only one option, 2 times 1, right? Okay, so now we take the third term off to the side, just like we did before, and we say, what are the factors of negative 3 that add up to positive 1? Well, here's the problem with that. You have negative 3 and positive 1, negative 1 and positive 3. Neither of those would give you a positive 1 when you add them, and that's because when you go to multiply it back out to check your work, you'll see that one of these numbers is going to be multiplied by the 2. So it's going to change, right? So when you're using guess and check, we are just going to plug in some different factors and see which one works, and we'll check our work. So let's try the first one here, negative 3 and a positive 1. Okay. So checking our work, let's multiply the inside. Negative 3 times x gives us negative 3x. Multiplying the outside gives us a positive 2x. And when you combine those two, it gives you a negative 1x. Okay, the problem with that is we need a positive 1. So instead of negative 3 and positive 1, the nice thing is we basically figured out our middle term. We just have the wrong sign. So up here, we're going to flip these signs. We're going to make this one a positive now, and we're going to make this one a negative. And that should be the solution, right? So looking at it here, we have 3 times x now gives us a 3x. 2 times negative 1 gives us a negative 2. And a positive 3x minus 2x gives us a positive 1x, right? So that's the guess and check method, and that proves that our factors here are 2x plus 3 and x minus 1. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. Example number 2, guess and check. So 3x and x give us 3x squared. And then take off your negative 4 over here to the side. Factors are negative 2 times 2, negative 4 times 1, negative 1 times 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and guess and check. We're going to plug these in, and we'll check it. Negative 2 and positive 2. Okay, negative 2 times x is negative 2x. 3 times 2 is 6. Negative 2 and positive 6 gives us a positive 4x, but we need it to be a negative 11, right? So that tells us we're not even close, and negative 2 and positive 2 are not going to work. All right, let's try negative 4 and positive 1. Negative 4 times x gives us a negative 4x. 3 times 1 gives us a positive 3. That would give us a negative 1x. That's also not going to work. Okay, let's try one more. Negative 1 and a positive 4. So this is a negative x, and this would be 12x, because 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so now 12 minus 1 is a positive 11x. So again, we got to a situation where we got the right middle term, it's just not the right sign. So what do? We change these signs to negative and a positive. Okay, and that should give us a positive 1 and a negative 12, which would give us a negative 11. So our solution is 3x plus 1 and x minus 4 are our factors. Okay, so that's how you do guess and check. You got to keep trying it, keep trying it, keep trying it, keep checking your work by multiplying until you get the correct middle term. All right, now box method you might feel is a little bit easier, so I'll show you on these ones. Box method, same as before, you draw your box. Okay, put the top left and the bottom right. Numbers in. Okay, now the difference with this, when you're using box method, when you have a number that's out front, you have to multiply the A and the C term. So 2 times 6 gives you negative 12. Excuse me, so what are the factors now of negative 12? Well, you have negative 1 and 12, right? And the opposite, you have negative 2 and 6. Negative 3 and 4, and they're opposites. So which one of those would add together to give you your middle term? Okay, well, we need a positive 1. So in this case, it would be the negative 3 and positive 4. So negative 3x, positive 4x would give me my positive 1x. Okay, so now at this point, once you have the table filled out to find your factors, you're just going to factor out the GCF. Okay, so 2x squared and 4x have a 2x in common. The negative 3x and negative 6 have a negative 3 in common. Okay, the 2x squared and 3x have just x in common. And these ones have a positive 2. So my solution, or my factors here, are 2x minus 3 times x plus 2. And again, you can check your work the same way. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. 2 times 2 is 4. So that would give me my positive 1. So I know that I have the correct answer. Okay. Let's try the box method on number 4 now. Again, pause it, rewind it if you need to. So box method here. So you have 3x squared, positive 5. Okay, 3 times 5 gives me 15. So again, this is the difference between guess and check. Guess and check, okay, you just take the third term and you put it off to the side. For the box method with these, you multiply the first term times the last term, and you have to do it that way. So positive 15 gives you, let's see, 1 times 15, 3 times 5, and that's it, right? So which one of those would give me a positive 8? Well, it'd be the 3 times 5. Okay, now factor out your GCFs. So 3x squared and 5x, the only thing they have in common is an x. 3x and 5 look like they don't have anything in common, but they actually just have a 1 in common because they're both divisible by 1. And then these are divisible by 3x, and this has a 5 in common, right? 5x and 5 have a 5, 3x squared and 3x have 3x. Again, so here are my factors, x plus 1 times 3x plus 5. And there's my solutions. Ooh, that's kind of tough to see. Let's see if we can go with a different color here. There we go. Okay, so I got 2 more I want you to try. I've actually already posted these on Canvas, okay, the full workout for them. So go ahead and try those. And then as soon as you're done, you can check your answers in Canvas and then go ahead on to tonight's exit ticket. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day and be prepared for tomorrow's practice.